riders. And I'm deeply disappointed that this bill doubles down on last year's appropriations bill that was full of short-sighted policy riders. The bill this year seems to have even more of those, riders that eviscerate efforts to protect our nation's precious environmental resources. There is simply no place for these kinds of riders that are related to policy in a funding bill. I'm also not naive, but I think we need to stress that this kind of radical policy change is not appropriate in an appropriations bill. Let's be clear about something. The bill before us today is the funding vehicle for two critically important federal agencies, the Department of the Interior and the Environmental Protection Agency. These agencies were created by Congress to protect America's natural resources and heritage, to ensure viable energy resources, and to ensure that our human activities are conducted in a sustainable way that ensures our clean air, clean water, and that we have a healthy environment for us, for our children, and for all future generations. We should let them do this vital work, not create new roadblocks for them. These agencies have a very difficult job. They constantly must balance numerous competing interests and do so while working with international, state, and local partners. We in Congress may not always agree on the exact approach by which these agencies carry out their mission, and that's fine, but it's our job to help shape those priorities through our funding levels. But what we should not do is attempt to stand in the place of these expert agencies by stopping them from acting within the scope of their statutory discretion. While my Democratic colleagues have shared a laundry list of inappropriate policy riders, which I agree should all be removed, I want to focus on four quickly in particular. First, this bill includes a policy rider that blocks the administration's national ocean policy. As I noted last year on this very issue, the national ocean policy simply builds on years of bipartisan federal, state, local cooperation, improves the cooperation and coordination among resource users, and develops plans to strengthen our $5.6 trillion coastal and ocean economic engine. The rider language currently in the bill will actually hurt many of the coastal communities that rely on a healthy, well-managed ocean ecosystem to drive their economies. It will deprive state and local governments of the federal coordination, expertise, and resources that will help us all better manage our ocean resources so they will be sustainable for generations to come. The coordination and assistance is critically important to states like my home state of Florida, with over 1,300 miles of coastlines and many competing uses of ocean resources, including commercial and recreational fishing, a vibrant shipping industry, urban development of the coast, and a strong tourism industry that relies on healthy ocean ecosystems. Second, this bill includes a policy rider that blocks the EPA from implementing and enforcing its new final rule, clarifying the federal jurisdiction of navigable waters under the Clean Water Act. The Clean Water Act was passed by Congress to ensure that we root out pollution from our waterways. Third, I'm disappointed that this bill includes a policy rider to prohibit the Fish and Wildlife Service from revising its regulations to better combat the trade and importation of ivory. And finally, just if I can ask for another minute, Mr. Chairman. Finally, I believe I'm probably the only other member to be speaking on this. Thank you. Finally, I strongly oppose the multiple riders aimed at tying agency actions to combat climate change. You can stick your head in the sand all you want on this issue, but as I've heard and we've all heard scientists say before, the great thing about facts is that they're true, whether or not you believe in them. And my congressional district is the world's #1 most endangered urban area when it comes to climate change. As I stated here last week, a recent Miami Herald story noted that sea levels could rise by as much as 6 feet by 2100. 6 feet. This is no joking matter. If you keep your head in the sand long enough, you just might drown. While Congress fiddles, local communities are acting and we should be helping them. In my own district, cities like Miami Beach are working on plans, and we need to make sure that we can empower those plans, not stand in their way. Thank you. I yield back.
Is there further discussion? If not, Ms. McCollum is recognized.